Happy Friday. I'm here for your mathy math for today. So I'm not going to make this video any longer than it has to be. I'm trying to make Fridays a lighter day to give people time to catch up, catch their breath, and breathe. I do promise that next week is going to be a little bit lighter because some of these math videos this week were a lot for you guys. So thank you for your patience. You're doing a great job. Please keep sending me those sheets and telling me how it's going. I'm liking seeing that. I will make changes based on your suggestions, but for now, let's do some math. All right, so let us work through Friday's math. My first part is our daily math, and I've been doing these as a warm-up. Next week, I'm going to try something a little different. You will still be getting your daily math, but I'm going to try doing a little warm-up activity at the beginning of our math lessons. That'll be right on the worksheet, and it'll be something that we can think about together, and I will have a one-sided conversation where I talk to my phone about it. But I think a little bit of math warm-up to start our day is a great way to do it. I tried posting it on Teams, but I feel like that's too many places for you guys to be checking, so I'm going to put it all right here. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Let's get focused, Mrs. Oakes. You're all over the place once again. Friday's data management. It says, everyone at Michael's school participated in a winter activity day. Each person could choose the activity, I found a typo, they wanted to do. This bar graph shows their choices. So there was people doing snowboarding, skiing, snowshoeing, ice fishing, and skating. Now, this is a bar graph. You might have seen a bar graph this way, right? This is just a different way of doing a bar graph. I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can really see it. So a bar graph is where you shade in a certain number, and the longer the bar, the length of the bar, represents how many people were answered that this was their favorite. So here it's activities: snowboarding, skiing, snowshoeing, ice fishing, and skating. And along here is the number of students. Sometimes when we do bar graphs, we actually put them this way, so the bars go upward, but you can also do them sideways. Either way is great. Now, how many students participated in Winter Activity Day? So to figure this out, we actually have to add the total of all of these. Now you can find the total of each by following the numbers and figuring out how many squares. So this one here, each one of these squares is worth 5. And this one here, there were 50 people. And then for here, if you look, 45 people. Okay, and then down here, for snowshoeing, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, 5, 10, 15, 20. 20 people. And then here, 5, 10, or just look, there's 10. Now here for skating, there's 45 people, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45. Now I have the totals of each activity. We're going to add them up. So this is a lot to add. I'm going to show you my trick. I do these two together. Well, 50 plus 50 would be 100. 50 plus 45 is 95. And then I'm going to put 20 and 10 is 30. Do you see how I'm just what I'm doing is I'm adding these two numbers together and these two numbers together, so I have fewer numbers to add. And then my last number is 45. So now I have 3 numbers to add. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Obviously, I need to show you my paper. So now I have 3 numbers to add. So I did 50 and 45, that's 95. I added 20 and 10, that's 30. And I added 45, which is just 45 because I didn't have anything to add to it. So I've gone from having to add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers to just having to add 3. Now, 5 and 5 is 10. So I have 0 ones and 1 10. Now I add my 10s. 90 plus 1 is 100. Then plus 30 is 130. And then plus 40, so think about it. I've got 130, 40, 50, 60, 70. 170. There were 170 people participating in Winter Activity Day. 170 people. Now, what was the most popular choice? So the most popular choice means the choice that was picked by the most people. So my most popular choice was the one with the longest bar. Oh, snowboarding. I don't know who could fit snowboarding here. Okay, I do. A couple people just popped into my mind, but mine is gonna go past the line. Snowboarding. All right, what was the least popular choice? So that would be the one that was picked the least amount, and we know that only 10 people picked ice fishing. So ice fishing was the least popular choice. What was the range of the data? So range of the data just means that you take the highest number, the activity with the highest number, and you subtract it from the activity with the lowest number. So 50, subtract 10, because this is our highest number and that's our lowest number. 50 subtract 10 is 40. Now, how many people chose either skating or skiing? And it's asking us to add here. So you're gonna have to take the number that chose skating, and I look up, that's 45. And you need to add it to the number who chose skiing, and that is also 45. And they're asking how many people either chose skating or skiing. They want to know how many people all together. Okay, so you have to add 45 and 45. So I'm going to do this not stacking and doing Grandma and Grandpa's way. I'm just going to look at it this way. 5 and 5 is 10. 40 plus 40 is 80. So I count up 110 from 80. 80, 90. If you still want to check this, if you don't believe me, you can check it by stacking them and adding them that way. But sometimes when you have two numbers and they're end in a 5 or a 10, it's easy just to count up. So you could also count your 10s. 40 plus 40 is 80, and then 5 and 5 is 10, so count one more up, 80, 90. All right, whew. Now, John has 1,268 marbles, and he wants to give his sister half of them. How many will he give her? Now for this, guys, we're going to have to do division. We have to divide this number by 2. I am going to show you some division. We are not quite there yet in our division, so don't freak out. But I'm going to show you how to do this using halves, okay? So we're going to take each one of the digits here and we're going to half them, and then we're going to figure out, we're going to divide them by 2. Rather than when you're in grade 5, I'm going to show you how to do this by long division. I don't think we're quite there yet. I'm still hearing from a lot of people that the basic division we're doing is lots for them and they're still figuring it out. So I'm not going to model long division right now. I'm just going to show you how you could do this. So break up your number into expanded notation. 1,000 plus 200 plus 60 plus 8. Now, we know enough about division to be able to divide each of these into half. Okay? You know enough about a division to be able to divide each of these into half, and I'm going to show you how you know that. I'm going to switch colors in my pen, and if you're having that feeling that I know some of you get when you're doing something new in math where you're like, I don't know what she's going to do. This is going to be scary. Take a breath, because numbers aren't scary. A lot of us have learned to be stressed out by math, and there's nothing stressful about math. So, looking here, I say, all right, I have 1,268 marbles, and I want to divide them into half. So I have taken 1,268. I've stretched my number out. Now I'm just going to make, just so that you can see, I'm going to make these lines, and I'm going to say divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2, and divide by 2. So all I'm doing is I'm dividing each of these numbers by 2. And you're thinking, but I don't know 1,000 to divide by 2. But you know 10 divided by 2? What is 10 divided by 2? Right, it's 5. So now 1,000, you just write is half of 1,000 is 500, just like half of 10 is 5. Okay, now for my next one, I have 200 divided by 2, and you're going, I don't know that, I don't know that, I don't know that. But you do know 20 divided by 2, that's 10, right? So 200 divided by 2 is 100. And if you don't believe me, check with addition. 500 plus 500 is 1,000. 100 plus 100 is 200. Okay, now I'm going to go on to 60. Now you might not know 60 divided by 2, but you know 6 divided by 2 is 3. So 60 divided by 2 is 30. All right, and my next one, 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now to figure that out, half of this, we've taken these top numbers, we've divided them by 2. Now we just have to add them all back up. So 1,000 plus 200 plus 60 plus 8 is 1,268. Okay. 500 plus 100 plus 30 plus 4. Well, let's go 500 plus 100 is 600. And then 30 and 4, it's 634. Okay, now that really was a brain stretch for some of you. If you heard me explain that and you went, what? I don't know what I'm doing. That's okay. Don't feel panic. Know that I am going to be with you to explain this step by step anytime it comes up. I'm just kind of showing you how you could break a big number apart and then try to figure out the halves of each of the parts of the number. Remember, this is called expanded notation. Then put the number back together, and it'll tell you what half of that number is. Okay? Again, don't panic. We will practice this and practice this and practice this. In grade 5, this is a big thing that we practice. And don't get scared by that either, because we're going to start with wherever you are at. One way that you can prepare from this is multiplication and division facts. Practice, 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 practice. Now we're going to move on to multiplication. So we're going to multiply these big numbers. And I'm looking here. I have 753 times 2. I'm actually going to use Flora's strategy for this. And I'm just, because it's times 2, I'm just going to go 753 plus 753. Okay, because this one is times 2, you're just adding 2 groups. You could just as easily just add. 3 and 3 is 6. 50 and 50 is 100. So I have 0 tens, but I have 100. Okay, 700 plus 700 is 14 hundreds. One more hundred is 15 hundreds. It's 1,506. All right, I'm going to move on to my next one. So 549 times 5. Now, here is my question for you about that. If you wanted to list 549 five times and add it, go for it. But my question to you is that easier than just multiplying? If it is, and you really want to do it, go for it. I am going to multiply using partial products because that's my jam, and that is the best way to explain it to you guys. So partial products, you know the deal. We start with our ones, then we move on to our tens, then we move on to our hundreds. We multiply each, and then we add them all together. So the first one I'm multiplying is 9 times 5. 9 times 5 is 54. 5 tens, 4 ones. My next one, 5 times 40. Well, I put a 0 there because I'm working in the tens place, and I just think 5 times 4. 5 times 4 is 20. All right, now my next number, 5 times 500. I'm going to put 2 zeros here because I'm working with that 100. And then I can just do 5 times 5 because those zeros are holding the place. 5 times 5 is 25. Now, I add them all up. 4, 4, 0, 0, 4 and 0 and 0 is 4, 5, 0, 0 is 5, 200s plus 500s is 700s, and 2,000 is just 2,000. All right, 2,754. That is my final product. that is partial products. Again, I think that's where most of us are working right now. So I'm going to model the next two partial products because I really like that strategy. If you have decided you want to do Grandma Grandpa's way, go for it, guys. I am going to keep going with partial products though, because I think that's the best way for everybody watching who needs a little bit of help. And that's what I'm here for. That is the whole point of the videos, is to give you guys some math help. Now, 278, so I've got my ones, I've got my tens, I've got my hundreds. I put this up here, guys, just to remind you that you're not doing 8 times 7 and 8 times 2. You're doing 8 times 70 and 8 times 200. Okay, that is important to remember. Otherwise, this doesn't make sense. Okay, so I start with my first one. Okay, so 8 times 8 is 64. I have to keep my tens and my ones in the right spot, so I put my 6 tens for 64 in the 10 spot and my 4 ones in the 1 spot. Okay, then I move on to 8 times 7. But remember, it's 8 times 70 because that's in the 10 spot. So I'm going to put this 0 here to hold my place so that I can just think 8 times 7 is 56. So 8 times 70 is 560. I move on to the next one. Multiplying in this 100 spot, I want to put 2 zeros there to hold my place. 8, I've already put my hundreds there, so now I can think 8 times 2 is 16. And then I add all of these wonderful numbers together to get my total. 400 is 4, 6 and 6 is 12. Now it's 60 and 60, so it's 120. So I put my 20 here, and then my 100 can go up in the hundreds column, right? Because it's 100, it's not a 10. Now I go, 5 and 1 is 6, double 6 is 12. So again, these are hundreds, so it's 1,200. I'll put my 200 here, and I put my 1,000 here. Now I go 1,000 plus 1,000 is a 2,000. All right, on to the next. Now, 282 times 4. 282 times 4. 2 times 4 is 8. 4 times 8. Oh, sorry, I forgot to do this thing to help you here. So I've got my hundreds, tens, and ones. Don't forget your hundreds, tens, and ones. I'm going to start with my ones. 2 times 4 is 8. Now I need to do 4 times 80. Since I'm working in this tens place, I just put a 0 there to hold the tens place. Remember, there's 1 0 in a 10, or on a 10. So put your 0 there to hold your 10 spot. Then I go 4 times 8. So think, what's 4 times 8? 32. So I'm going to put my 2, but it's actually 4 times 80, so it's 2 tens, 300s, but 32, 320. Now I go on to my next one, 4 times 700. So put these 200s here to help, or 2 zeros here to help you remember you're working in the hundreds place. And then just think 7 times 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. And you might be wondering, why did you write the 8 and then the 2? It's just so that I know I have them in line and it looks better on camera so that you guys can really see it. You do not have to do them backwards, especially if it's going to confuse you. 8 and 0 is 8 ones, 2 tens, 8 and 3 is 11 hundreds, so I have 100 or 100 there, and then 11 hundreds is actually 1,100. So I put my 100 there. And now I add my thousands. 1,000 plus 2,000 is 3,000. All right, guys, that was awesome. You did it. I hope that this is getting easier for you. I know the first couple times that we did our triple digit by single digit multiplication, a lot of people panicked and had that queasy math feeling that I try to avoid giving students. So I'm hoping that the more you see it modeled on a video step by step where you can rewind it and pay attention to it, the better, because I really want you to get this. Okay, repeated subtraction. Now I received some messages from a couple people, and these are people who I know had a good understanding of division. And then when they saw repeated subtraction, they went, I don't know what's going on, and I don't like this. Don't worry. This is just one way to do division. I'm going to go over this now. Don't panic if you're going, I don't like repeated subtraction. Keep in mind that I teach different strategies because there's going to be someone who didn't understand division, and repeated subtraction is a way to help them understand it, okay? But either strategy is fine. It says choose your method. See? That's what we're doing. Now that you have done repeated subtraction on a number line and using subtraction equation, it's time to choose the method that works best for you. Solve these equations using either method, then check your answer using multiplication. So again, this is repeated subtraction. If you are using your multiplication facts to do that, guys, go for it. If you want to do this using multiplication facts, that's fine. There's some people that this repeated subtraction thing is frustrating for, but then remember, you might be one of the people that this is going to help you understand division better. We will use repeated subtraction in grade 5 to help us with bigger numbers, but know that I'm going to help you with that when the time comes, so don't panic too much. Okay, so 25 divide by 5. That looks like a plus sign. It's a divide sign. So we're going to do 25, subtract 5 is 20, subtract 5 is 15, subtract 5 is 10, subtract 5 is 5, and subtract 5 is 0. So how many groups of 5 did we subtract from 25? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That tells us there are 5 groups of 5 in 25. So 25 divided by 5, you're going to get 5 groups of 5. Okay, 30 divide by 6. So this one I'm going to do a number line. So I'm going to put 30 here. And we're trying to get, oh my gosh, why are my number lines so crooked? Oh well, we're trying to get to 0. So we're dividing by 6, which means we subtract full groups of 6. So 30 subtract 6. Why does my 30 look like this? Why does my 6 look like sideways? Sorry. 30 subtract 6 is 24. All right, and we're going to subtract another group of 6. And think of your 6 facts. 6 is facts. So this is 6 times 5. This is 6 times 4. Okay, and I'm going through it this way for people who are going, I don't like repeated subtraction. This is all it means. So I'm going back to 6 times 4, which is 24. Then go back again to 6 times 3, which is 18. Again, that's just subtracting 6. I'm going to subtract 6 more, and I get to 12, which is 6 times 2, and then I'm going to subtract 6 more, and I'm going to get to 6. So all this is a visual way to go back through your multiplication facts, okay? That's all it is. It's just a visual way to work through those multiplication facts until you get to 0. I have to make sure I write my last one. So how many groups of 6 did I have to subtract from 30? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that tells me there are 5 groups of 6 in 30. And now I forgot to model this part. So check using multiplication. You just go 6 groups of 5. 6 groups of 5. Or 5 groups of 6. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 groups of 5 is confusing because that's not what we're working on here. Sorry. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 6. Here's a group of 6, 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 equals 30. And for this one, let's check this one using multiplication. Sorry, guys. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 groups of 5 equals 25. So that's correct, and that's correct. I miss correcting work in person. Okay, so this is 14 divide by 2. So we go 14, and on this side I'm just going to model subtracting. But if you want to draw a number line, go for it. 14 subtract 2, and how many groups of 2 are you going to subtract till you get to 0? Well, what's 14 divided by 2? right? It's 7. So you need to subtract 7 groups of 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that should give us 0. Let's count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Okay, so 14, subtract all of these together, 14, is going to give you 0. That's all we're doing. 14, subtract 2, subtract 2, subtract 2. You're subtracting 7 groups of 2. It's going to get you to 0. So the multiplication equation, we'll check right away, but 14, repeatedly subtract groups of 2. How many groups of 2 do you subtract? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that gets you to 0. So 14 divided by 2 is 7. And then to check that, 2 times 7 is 14. All right, for this one, I'm going to do a number line. Are you guys feeling the end of the week? Right? You only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 math questions left for this week. Way to go. So I've got 12. And I want to get from 12 to 0. Okay? And I'm dividing by 4. So that means I'm going to subtract groups of 4. So 12 subtract 4 is 8. 8 subtract 4 is 4. And 4 subtract 4 is 0. So I have 1, 2, 3 groups of 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Because you've divided 12, so this whole number line is 12, and then you've divided it up into groups of 4, so you can see how many groups of 4 you have. Now let's check with multiplication. 4, so I have 4, and how many groups of 4 do I have? 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 groups of 4 is 12. You could also say 4 times 3 is 12. Those are the same facts. Okay, so 12 divided by 4 is 3. If I take 12 and I subtract equal groups of 4, I get to subtract 3 groups of 4. Okay, on to the next one. And again, on this side of the page, I'm going to be modeling repeated subtraction using an equation. And on the other side, I will do a number line, but you can pick whatever works for you guys. They're the same thing. And if you're really hating this, just put a note on your paper and do this using multiplication, okay? Maybe try and work through this video with me. It might help. All right, 14. Divide by 3. So you're going to subtract groups of 3 till you, or 15. 15. You're going to subtract groups of 3 till you get to 0. Now, 15 divided by 3, think of the fact. What is the fact? And I'm doing it this way, guys, for the people that know their division facts. 15 divided by 3 is 5, because 3 times 5 is 15. So we're just going to take 3 or 5 groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 15, subtract 15, we should equal 0. But all that's showing me is I've taken 15 and I've broken it into groups of 3. How many groups of 3 do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 15 divided by 3 is 5. Because 5 times 3 is 15. And 3 times 5 is 15. Either of those facts are sufficient. All right, on to 60. And we're going to be jumping back in groups of 10. So I've got 60. And I want to break it into how many groups of 10 fit into 60, and I'm going to do that by subtracting groups of 10. So 60 subtract 10 is 50. 50 subtract 10 is 40. 40 subtract 10 is 30. 30, and I'm sorry that my 3 looks so curled up. 30 subtract 10 is 20. And 20 subtract 10, oh, is 10. I've run out of room on my number line. Is 10. I have to make my number line longer. Now my 0's over here. And then subtract one more 10 is 0. See, I'm modeling real math for you right now. Real math, sometimes we have to get our spacing right. So either way, I started at 60 and I subtracted groups of 10 until I got to 0. So 60, how many groups of 10 are in 60? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, check using multiplication. Let's do it, people. 6 times 10 is 60, or 10 times 6 is 60. However you choose to think about it. Now, I was going to have you do these on your own because I think some of you might be able to. But given the messages I got about this math page and confusion about this math page, I am going to model these. Now, if you are a person who is doing this and it is making sense, stop the video now. Please don't watch it till the end. Please just do it on your own and just write on my own. And I will know what you mean when I see your work. If you worked along with me and you don't, you still need some help with it, that's important that I know it. So please don't write on my own unless you actually did it on your own. And yeah, all right, 18 divide by 3. So I'm going to do repeated subtraction using an equation here. How many groups of 3 are in 18? So I can just keep subtracting. How many is it? So think about your facts, guys. Right, it's 6, because 6 times 3 is 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 3 is going to get me to 0. So I've taken 18 and I've subtracted 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. So I've subtracted 18 from 18, but I've done it in groups of 3 so I can see, the purpose is to see how many groups of 3 I have. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups of 3. All right, 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, 18 divided by 3 is 6 because I could take away 6 groups of 3. And I can check that doing 6 times 3 is 18. Or 3 times 6 is 18. Either way is a-okay. Now, yeah, I'm good at rhymes. It happens. I'm going to draw this one down here because this lovely gentleman is in my way and I don't want to run out of room again. So 24 divided by 8. I love it when teachers put these decorations on their worksheets, but I personally find them a little distracting. I don't know about you, but this is a really good worksheet and I am going to use it and be thankful that it's awesome. Okay, we are going to be subtracting groups of 8 because it's 24 divided by 8. Okay, so I take my 8 and I take 24 to start and I'm going to subtract 8. So 24 subtract 8. Think about it. What's 24 subtract 8? 16. Now subtract another 8. This is subtract 8 is going to get me to 8. And then I'm going to subtract one more 8. It's going to get me to 0. So how many groups of 8 did I have in 24? 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to check using multiplication. 3 times 8 is 24. And 8 times 3 is 24. Alrighty. Now, wonderful people, know that I am moving on next week from repeated subtraction. I'm going to show you some other some other things related to division and some fractions. So if this was super stressful for you, then you can just try to see it as a different way of trying to have a deeper understanding of division. And remember, all we're doing is taking a number. This one's a better one. So we're taking a number and we're trying to see, because that's what division is asking us. How many groups of 3 will fit into 15? This is a way to figure it out. This is a way to figure it out where you go, how many groups of 3 will fit into 15? Well, why don't I just take groups of 3 away until I get to 0 and then I'll know. Where if you did this and you went, if this stressed you out because maybe subtraction is not your favorite way to think of numbers, then you don't have to do this again. Just see it as another way of understanding. Try to take the lesson from it. Try to see if you can get your brain wrapped around it. Maybe practice a couple. All we're doing is we're taking the number, and this is one way to break it up, rather than when I was doing it and I was drawing it out. This is the same thing. So say I took 14 and I want to divide it into 2. I could also do this. This is going to tell me how many groups of 2 I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Now look, did I get the same thing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I did. I have 2 groups of 7. So 14 divided into 2 groups, there's going to be 7 each group, because 14 divided into groups of 2, you'd have 7 groups of 2. It's all the same. Now, if you're really confused by this, I did upload a video for the grade 2s and 3s about fact families and multiplication and division, and you can kind of see how all of this works together. If you want to go check it out, it's in the bonus math videos on my YouTube channel. It's long, guys, and it breaks it down really, really simply. And I am planning on doing a bonus division activity next week. For those that need a little bit of extra practice, that will come up hopefully on the YouTube channel by the end of next week. I am trying to fit all of the videos into my days and sometimes nights, so I really appreciate your patience while I get them all up. Okay, have a wonderful day. And this was a great week of math. Thank you for joining me. And I hope that this cleared up the questions from a few of you. I tried to address them in this video. Send me a message and let me know if I did. All right, you did it. You're done for the whole week. Next week, you have 2 English days, which means 2 days of math. Let me know how math is going for you and how you're feeling about it, okay? Have a great day, everybody. I will see you next week for more math.